Hello and welcome to this e-learning video. In this video, I'll give you an overview of the rules of origin. My name is Malcolm Gresty, Director of Trade and Investment Services with Innovas, a UK-based consultancy company. I refer to a number of websites in this video, and there are links to them in the summary below. Once you click through, you'll find a range of helpful resources. In this video, I'll cover what rules of origin are, why you need to know about them, and how to follow the rules of origin. Rules of origin are one of the most important trading requirements you need to understand and meet if your business buys or sells goods internationally. For trade between the UK and the EU, you'll be able to benefit from a reduced rate of customs duty, also referred to as preferential tariffs, if your goods meet the rules of origin requirements in the UK-EU Trade and Cooperation Agreement. If you cannot prove the origin of your goods, your EU customer will have to pay the full non-preferential rate of customs duty. You may also be charged a penalty and excluded from using preferential tariffs going forward. Rules of origin work differently if you're moving goods between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So contact the Trader Support Service for up-to-the-date guidance and support. As a busy entrepreneur, you may want to hire someone to deal with customs for you. This might be a freight forwarder, a customs agent, or a fast parcel operator. The .gov.uk website explains how to get help and provides a useful list of customs agents and fast parcel operators. By origin, we mean where the goods or materials, parts or ingredients used to make them have been produced or manufactured. It is not necessarily where they were shipped from or assembled. With complex supply chains, materials may come from several countries. Understanding your supply chain is key, as your goods must meet a qualifying level of production in the UK. This applies to goods with an EU origin, as well as goods from the rest of the world. Different goods must comply with different rules. And next we'll cover what action your business will need to take to meet some of these rules and the documentation you'll need to provide. To benefit from preferential tariffs, there are some key steps you need to follow to comply with the rules of origin. You need to know how to classify your goods to benefit from the preferential tariffs, and you need to know how to prove that your goods meet the rules of origin. You'll need to find the right commodity code for any goods you import or export. Commodity codes are used worldwide to classify goods. You should go to the .gov.uk website and search for the trade tariff tool at the time you're importing your goods to look up the correct commodity codes. To use the tool, you'll need to know certain details about your product. This may include the materials and production methods used to make it and the way it is packaged. To find the rules of origin that apply to your product, you need to know how your goods are classified. Claiming preferential tariffs means understanding your supply chain and knowing where your goods originate from. There are two ways a product can be considered originating: wholly obtained or substantially worked or processed. If a product is fully grown, born or extracted from one country without input from another, it's considered to be wholly obtained, WO. An example would be vegetables grown in the UK. If a product is made or processed using materials from different countries, it is treated as sufficiently worked or processed, but this depends on whether the product-specific rule has been met in Great Britain. For example, under the UK-EU Trade and Cooperation Agreement, shelling US peanuts in Britain isn't sufficient to make these peanuts British. However, using those peanuts in the manufacture of peanut butter would be allowed by the product-specific rule. There are different rules that apply to importing and exporting sufficiently worked or processed goods, so it's recommended that you check the Rules of Origin page on the .gov.uk website. Mike Wilson, CEO of Go Exporting and Enterprise Nation Advisor, hosted a webinar on rules of origin that goes into more detail about the rules that a product may need to meet. You can watch the video via the link below. As mentioned earlier, to claim zero tariffs, you'll need to hold proof that your goods meet the rules of origin. If you are exporting from the EU to the UK and you want to benefit from the preferential tariffs in place, you'll need a statement on origin. This is your proof that the goods meet the rules of origin. You should provide this statement on an invoice or a similar document. Make sure the statement describes the goods in enough detail to allow the necessary people to identify them. If you're importing into the EU from the UK, the importer's knowledge allows the importer to claim preferential tariff treatment based on evidence they've obtained about where the imported products originated from. As it's the importer who's making this claim, the exporter or producer of the goods doesn't need to provide a statement on origin. Some goods will also need supplier declarations to confirm that they originate from either the UK or the EU, and you now must have supplier declarations at the time you export your goods. Throughout 2021, businesses were allowed to export goods to the EU using reduced tariffs and provide supplier declarations later to give them more time. This easement has now ended as of the 1st of January, so you must have supplier declarations where required at the time you make out your statement on origin. You must also now hold a supplier declaration for any goods you exported in 2021. If you now cannot provide a supplier declaration or equivalent evidence to confirm the UK origin of goods exported to the EU in 2021, you must let your customer know. If EU customs authorities ask you to verify the origin of your goods and you cannot provide supporting evidence, your EU customer will be liable to pay the non-preferential rate of customs duty. Additionally, you may be charged a penalty and excluded from using preferential tariffs going forward. The .gov.uk website provides guidance on using supplier declarations to support a proof of origin. So visit the .gov.uk/rules-of-origin. Let's recap what I have covered in this video, what rules of origin are, why you need to know about them, and how to follow the rules of origin.